Welcome to Alaska Weather, a production of Alaska Public Media and the National Weather Service, Alaska Region. Produced and broadcast daily from the studios of KAKM, Alaska Weather provides complete forecasts, public, marine, and aviation for all of Alaska. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.
Welcome to your Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Percy. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, as well as on www.arh.noaa.gov. And this is your Alaska Weather for February 25th, 2016. Starting off with tonight's hazards. Along the eastern Beaufort, we have a blizzard watch. That's going to be from Friday morning through late Friday night, and that's with gusty easterly winds at 60 miles per hour. And then we still have a blizzard warning for the Bering Strait coast and St. Lawrence Island, and that's going to be remaining through 6 a.m. Friday. And again, gusty winds to 50 miles per hour with visibility is 1 nautical mile or less at times. Excuse me, a quarter mile or less at times. And then along the eastern Alaska range, we have a wind advisory, and that's going to be through 9 p.m. this evening with gusts to 55 miles per hour. Now starting off with our satellite, put in the loop, we have a weak low pressure system that's starting to move up just east of the Seward Peninsula, and that's bringing precipitation and moisture throughout the northern Alaska region. And then over the southeast panhandle, we have another occluded low that's starting to move up from the south. That's bringing more southerly air and more clouds to the region, and some precipitation is falling over the southeast panhandle. Is all light rain. Then over the Bering, we have just south of the eastern Aleutians, we have another occluded low that's starting to move into the Sand Point region. That's bringing southeasterly flow and moisture into the eastern Bering. The northern Bering, you still have a weak trailing front that's through this region, and that's bringing snow showers throughout that region. Over the western Aleutians, we have some moisture with snow showers occurring along with this trough. Today's weather. Again, this weak low pressure system just sitting off east of the Seward Peninsula with a trailing stationary front extending south of the Brooks Range, and that's bringing again moisture and snow showers on the backside along the Chukchi Sea there, and also the Arctic coastline. You are reporting some blowing snow issues up there near Dead Horse, and some scattered showers at AKwx. And then with this trailing front that's moving down into the eastern Bering, that's bringing some moisture and some rain along the Akpen and eastern Aleutians there. The Pribilofs are reporting some scattered light snow showers. And then here's that weak trough that's extending through the western Aleutians there with another weak low just south of Shemya. That's bringing some more moisture, and that will receive some later on some light snow out of that. For the southeast, we have this a stronger occluded low that's starting to push up into the Gulf. This strong southerly flow bringing more moisture and warm air to the southeast panhandle as well as to the northern Gulf, and you're getting some light rain along the southeast panhandle, as well as some light rain along the eastern Kenai. Tonight's forecast, we have this low that's going to be pushing over the Akpen. Well, actually the eastern Aleutians, sorry about that. And that's going to bring some continued warmer air and a wintry mix over the eastern Bering Sea. And then farther north, going up through the northern Bering to the Arctic coastline, you're going to have, again, those blowing snow issues along the St. Lawrence and to the northern Bering Strait. For the western Aleutians, so you have that weak low that's bringing scattered snow showers. And then for the southeast panhandle, you're going to have this low, a cooler low that's starting to fill. Strong southerly push with that. Again, you're going to have rain, predominantly all rain with the warmer temperatures throughout the southeast panhandle and the northern Gulf coastline. The Anchorage Bowl is getting downsloped out, drier conditions there, and you are getting some rain showers along the Aleutian Range and the Alaska Range. Friday's forecast, this low is just going to move up this weak low just over Kodiak and with a weak trough extending through the northern Gulf coastline, and that'll continue to bring light rain to the northern Gulf, the coastal communities. For the southeast, you'll have starting to break up a little bit near the Dixon entrance, but still light rain through the southeast and a little bit of wintry mix as you go farther north. Along the Arctic coastline and the Bering Strait, you have this weak stationary front that's producing continued blowing snow issues and snow, and as well as some snow showers throughout the Arctic coastline with another trailing stationary front east of Dead Horse there. For the just north of Atka, you have that low that's going to move into that region to the central lower Bering Sea there, and that'll produce a wintry mix. But then farther west, you'll have cooler temperatures, and you'll see the snow showers there. Saturday's forecast, we have this double barrel low just sitting off south of Kodiak with a strong southerly flow with a cooler front extending out through the Gulf and southeast panhandle. So it continued, just more warm air pushing up from the south. So you can look at for all rain, no problems with the wintry mix or snow or anything. It's going to be all rain with this southerly push. And then along the Anchorage Bowl, extending along the Aleutian Range, Alaska Peninsula, it's going to be all rain. It won't be until you get farther into southwest interior that you'll have a wintry mix, and then from Bethel westward, as well up to the Seward Peninsula, you have the scattered snow showers, and then the blowing snow issues as you get closer to the eastern Siberian region there. And then over the western Aleutians, you'll have that low pressure system sitting there, and that'll produce a wintry mix on the Bering side. And then strong northwesterly winds will be on the western Aleutians, so that'll bring a cooler air in there, so you can look at scattered snow showers in that region. Temperatures for today at 2 p.m. Starting off, the coolest temperatures were along the Bering Strait. That makes sense. The St. Lawrence coming in at 9 and 3 there at Tin City. But as it warms up, as you can see along the northern Gulf coastline, along the chain, the eastern Aleutians, all in the upper 30s to mid 40s. You had Valdez coming in at 39, Kenai coming in at 45, Kodiak at 42. The southeast, again with that southerly push, warm air, you had a high today of 50 there at Sitka. Farther north, again, your coolest temperatures with that colder air up north. You had coming in there at 0 degrees at AKwx, and then 5 at Barrow, and then you go along the northwest coastline, 10 degrees at Point Hope, and then 3 degrees at Tin City. Again, cooler with that northerly push. Along the chain, as you can see, pretty much all in the upper 30s, and then a little cooler as you go farther out west with the colder air and the northwest flow around here. So 29 coming in at Shemya, and St. Paul 30 and St. George at 32. Tonight's low temperatures, the coolest temperatures again are going to be up north. There at Barrow coming in at 2. A little cooler as you get south of the Yukon Valley, but for the most part, the coolest temperatures are going to be farther north. Again, your temperatures are pretty modified with the strong southerly push, so a lot of the low temperatures in the chain are going to be in the upper 30s to mid 30s as you go along the north coastline. Along the southeast panhandle, again, you're going to have temperatures in the mid 30s to upper mid 40s there. Tomorrow's high temperatures, again, with the southerly push along the pretty much blanketed the whole southwest in the mid-30s, in the along the chain, along the northern Gulf coastal communities in the 40s, 40, 41 there, 41 at Dutch, all the way. Coolest temperatures, not surprising, again, there down at Shemya with that northwesterly flow and cooler air. The southeast panhandle, you're going to have, again, all in the, pretty much in the 40s, almost hitting 50 again there in the southeast panhandle region. Tomorrow's flying weather, lowest IFR to marginal VFR condition is going to be right in with that front that's pushing through here with a trailing stationary front wrapping right around through the Bering Strait. And then also the weak stationary front over there just east of the Brooks Range. In the Gulf and the southeast panhandle, you got that occluded low pushing up, so you're going to have some marginal VFR to IFR conditions over this region, just from Kodiak extending over to the southeast panhandle. Tomorrow's flying weather, Anaktuvik, marginal VFR to IFR, Atigun, marginal VFR to IFR, Lake Clark and Merrill, marginal VFR, Rainy, marginal VFR to VFR, windy, VFR conditions, Isabel, VFR conditions, Mantasca, VFR conditions, Tanita, VFR conditions, Portage, marginal VFR conditions, Chillicook and White, IFR conditions. And then tomorrow morning's freezing levels, no surprising, it gets down to the surface here, all the way down to the western Aleutians with that northwesterly flow and with the cooler air. And we do have, again, with that strong southerly push coming up through the Gulf for the North Pacific, you're looking at the freezing levels anywhere from 2,000 to 6,000 with, again, high pressure dominating way farther to the east in the lower 48, actually northern Canada. But we do have a warm tongue pushing in here to the southwest into the middle interior there north of Denali. Tomorrow's icing, you can look for light to occasional moderate, again, through the central to northern Bering Sea, going up to the Bering Strait there. And that's going to be anywhere from 2 to 10,000. A little lower when you go farther north along the northwest coastline. And then over the Gulf and southeast panhandle, you can have from 4 to 12,000 with this polluted front that's in that region. A little over the western Aleutians, well, actually south of the western Aleutians, 3 to 8,000. Tomorrow's jet stream, you can have strong northwesterly flow. It's been like this for the last week, 175 knots, becoming a little more zonal as you go well south of the chain here. And then it transitions to more southerly, southeasterly, going across the northwest and into the southeast panhandle region as this high pressure continues to amplify and build there in this region. Farther north over the eastern Beaufort Sea, east of that, you can have a strong northerly jet at 90 knots. Tomorrow's 9,000 foot winds. You have several weak low pressure systems throughout, one off the Kamchatka Peninsula, the central Aleutians, and then the one over the Gulf there near Kodiak. Again, cyclonic flow around all of them, pretty weak, 25 knots, southerly backside 20. The strongest winds are going to be in the Gulf there with a southerly push of 30 knots, and then you go farther north into the interior, easterly at 20, and easterly at 20 along the Arctic coastline. Tomorrow's 3,000 foot winds, again, continued cyclonic flow around these low pressure systems. The one over the weakest one over the central Bering, southerly flow out in front, and the backside northerly 25 to 30. And then strongest flow around the low pressure, this occluded low that's sitting over Kodiak region, southerly at 35 knots in the front, backside northerly at 25. A little farther over the southeast panhandle, southerly winds, and then transition to more easterly going across towards Seward Peninsula at 30 knots. And then farther north, you have continued southeasterly flow, 25 knots, going into the Beaufort Sea. Tomorrow's turbulence, again with this southeasterly flow, strong winds here. You got below 4,000 through the Alaska Peninsula and the southwest Bristol Bay region. And then strong northeasterly flow that's been bringing those blizzard conditions there for St. Lawrence. You're going to have below 4,000. Then for the southeast, again with this strong southeasterly push, stronger winds below 5,000 along the southeast panhandle and the northern coast, Gulf Coast. And then along the Brooks Range, you're going to have, not Brooks Range, correction me, along the Alaska Range, you're going to have below 5,000. And that's it for your forecast. We'll be back with your marine forecast after this.
Happy Leap Day!
Welcome to Stargazers. I'm James Albury, director of the Kika Silva Pla Planetarium in Gainesville, Florida.
And I'm Dean Regas, outreach astronomer from the Cincinnati Observatory. We're here to help you find your way around the sky. Every 4 years, we get to experience a cultural and calendar phenomenon, all caused by the Earth's orbit around the sun.
That's right, Dean. And although this event seems to happen every 4 years, sometimes we skip a year.
Plus, we have a giant planet joining the regular cast of constellations for the end of this February. Let's show you. Okay, we've got our skies set up for any night at the end of February, and you'll notice that the constellations that you saw last year at this time are in exactly the same place.
Yep, and did you know that if you went outside at midnight on your birthday every year, you'd see exactly the same star patterns? The planets and moon would all be in different positions each year, but the stars will appear in the same place. To ensure this, every 4 years we have to add one whole day to our calendar. This is because the time it takes for the Earth to travel around the sun doesn't exactly match our calendar year. As you know, it takes approximately 24 hours for the Earth to rotate once on its axis. That's 1 day.
But a year is how long it takes for a planet to travel all the way around the sun and return to the same spot. It takes the Earth approximately 365 days and 6 hours to travel around the sun once. Over time, this extra 6 hours added up and started causing big problems for our calendar. After a few centuries, spring wouldn't start in March anymore. So what do? Add extra time to the calendar.
And since we're off by 6 hours a year, every 4 years we'd be almost an entire day ahead of where we should be according to our calendar. Since 6 hours each year for 4 years adds up to 24 hours, it was decided that the simplest way to fix things was to add an extra day to the calendar every 4 years.
Years when we do this are called leap years, and the day which we add to our calendar count is called a leap day. Now, where should we put it? Well, February has the least number of days, so let's add it to February, and we'll create February 29th. We traditionally experience a leap year in years that are evenly divisible by 4, like 2008, 2012, and 2016.
But wait, there's more. When a century ends, we skip a leap year. The exception is if the century ends on a year that is exactly divisible by 4. So in 1800 and 1900 weren't leap years, but 1600 and 2000 were leap years. Going forward in time, you'll notice that 2100, 2200, and 2300 won't have a leap day, but 2400 will.
The reason the end of the century rule was introduced is because saying the length of our orbit is 365 days and 6 hours is still a little inaccurate. The correction is too big. The 6 hours was actually rounded up from 5 hours, 49 minutes, and 16 seconds. But hey, who's counting?
Okay, let's show you what the stars and one huge planet are doing for the end of February.
We have our skies set to any late February night right after dark facing south. And like every February sky, you'll find the 3 stars of Orion the Hunter halfway up in the sky, with his big dog's nose in the form of Sirius the dog star.
That star is seriously bright. Anyway, when you turn and face east, you'll see Leo the lion. His head stars make a backwards question mark, and his rear end is that triangle pattern. Leo is always there in late February, telling me to flip my calendar to March.
But this year, Leo is housing a visiting planet. Under Leo, you can't miss Jupiter. It's so bright that it makes even Sirius look dull. And Jupiter is approaching its closest approach to the Earth for the year. So you'll be seeing a lot more of Jupiter in the coming months. So seize your extra day this year.
And enjoy the heavens as you keep looking up.
Welcome back to your Alaska weather. Now starting off with the sea ice forecast. We have continued solid ice pack throughout the Chukchi Sea and the northern Bering Strait there. And we are getting some thin ice from Whale down to Nome. Also, we have some thin ice along the Kuskokwim Bay and in the Bristol Bay region. As well, we have some light ice still forming in the northern Cook Inlet. All right, Friday's marine forecast for the southeast. Again, not surprising with this southerly push with this occluded low that's pushing up. You're going to have small craft winds in the inside waters, a little weaker towards Haines and Skagway, but stronger gusts coming out of the Dixon entrance, and you'll have small craft southerlies, and then a little stronger south of Yakutat coming in at gale force winds. For Saturday, then you'll have stronger winds with that front gets closer. You have a gale force winds strongest on the outside waters, 40-45 knots. Stronger gusts again out of the Dixon entrance and along the southeast panhandle. The inside you're going to have a small craft and then gale force there coming out of the Dixon entrance. And then for Friday, for the south central, you're going to have gale force winds primarily from the Prince William Sound all the way along the eastern peninsula down until you get down to Kodiak, northeasterly flow there with 30 knots. And then along the northern Cook Inlet, you're going to have, starting out with small craft, and it starts building to gale force coming down through the Barren Islands all the way down through the Shelikof Strait. Again, it's going to continue to build to storm force winds along the western Gulf region, 30 knots through the Prince William Sound region, and then again along the eastern Kenai and into the Barren Islands region with this occluded low that's coming up. Gale force easterly there at Kodiak, and then northeasterly all along for the Cook Inlet all the way down the Shelikof Strait, and then becoming all gale force from basically the northern Cook Inlet down to the Kodiak Strait there, Bering Strait. Oh boy, I'm getting that mixed up tonight. Shelikof Strait, there I got it right. 1 out of 3 is not bad. And then for Friday, the Alaska Peninsula, you're going to have southerly flow, 20 knots, and then on the Bering side, easterly flow, southeasterly there, just north of Perryville there. And wave heights are going to be 5 to 10 feet, highest on the Pacific side. And then Saturday Marines forecast, predominantly all northeasterly flow on the Bering side, small craft, a little stronger on the Pacific side near Cherikov Island, and then westerly flow just south of the Shumagat Islands. And then Friday, the Aleutians, you're going to have predominantly from the Bering side, you're going to have all northwesterly to becoming all westerly as you go along the chain to Dutch. On the Pacific side, northwesterly to westerly, again, pretty much all small craft. For Saturday, you're going to have predominantly a northwesterly from Akka to Shemya, and then from the central Aleutians down to Dutch, all westerly flow. Again, all small craft, and your stronger winds will be with the colder air back here towards Shemya, northwesterly flow there at 35. Friday west marine forecast will be predominantly all northerly flow, actually northeast flow through the northern Bering Strait coming off the YK Delta, and then easterly through the Bristol Bay region, and then northeast through the Pribilofs. Saturday, you're going to have all northeasterly flow throughout the west coast, and you're going to have small craft for the most part, except a little stronger with that swath of colder air moving down through the western Barents Sea there, and that'll bring, again, gale force winds, and that'll be your strongest wave heights. Highest wave heights will be 12 feet there in the St. Matthew region. Friday marine forecast for the Arctic, all easterly flow. Again, you're going to have they have a blizzard watch, remember, along the eastern Beaufort here, and then you have easterly winds 45 knots, and then transitioning to northeast to northerly, a little weaker as you go farther south down the Bering Strait there. Saturday, continuous strong easterly gustly winds there of 40 to 45 knots, and then a transition again as before northeast to northerly as you get down to the Bering Strait. Tonight's forecast, you've got this occluded low that's sitting off southeast Kodiak Island with a trailing cold front extending off into the southeast panhandle. You'll have strong southerly winds and no surprise warmer air, so you got all light rain through this region. And then for The low that's sitting over the just on the north side of the eastern Aleutians, that's bringing again southerly flow and weak light precipitation through that region with light rain showers. And then you have this trailing stationary front extending over the northern Bering Strait, extending over into the Brooks Range. You're going to have blowing snow issues, and that's why they have the blizzard warning out for the St. Lawrence and the Bering Strait coast there. And that'll bring, again, scattered snow showers as you go farther north along the northwest coastline. For Friday's forecast, the secluded low starts falling apart. You still have continued light rain being pushed up into the region. A little wintry mix as you go farther north, but not much to talk about. But you're downsloping out through the Cook Inlet, then also drier conditions through the Alaska Range in the lower and upper Kuskokwim Valley there. You do have a weak trough sitting up just over the northern Alaska Range there, and some scattered snow showers. You have the trailing front pushing through the northern Bering Sea, and that's going to continue to bring blowing snow conditions along the northern Bering Sea there, and scattered snow showers along the northwest coastline. And farther north along the Arctic coastline in the Beaufort Sea portion, you're going to have the eastern portion, that is, you'll have snow conditions there. The southeast, you have continued light rain with this weak trough pushing in, and then that's going to bring light precipitation. In the western Aleutians, you have this weak low in northwesterly flow with weak scattered precipitation in the form of snow showers for there. You enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back tomorrow.
These forecasts are to be used for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.